something more. Not just sound, but surrender.
How's it, legends? Pulling the wrong volume here. What's up, legends? Hope you are all having a fantastic day. Let's analyze the price of Bitcoin here together. And as you can see, I'm just trying out a new background, a new little funky background. Okay, hope you all like it. It does give a little bit more contrast to my skin color. Okay, but maybe just for today I'll use this background. So hope you all had a great week. I know I haven't gone live many times this week. I only went live on Monday and now I'm here again today, but let's get cracking, guys. As per the poll, do you think we are inside of a bear market, or the bear market has already started? I saw some of the comments during some of my previous live streams. I see some of the sentiment out on X and Twitter. Do you believe the bear market has started, or we are still potentially going to continue a parabolic move here to the upside, or perhaps just continue the bull market here to the upside? Let's see, legends. Let me share my chart over here. Let's go put myself here in the corner. Oh, that would help if I do this. There we go. Right, now you guys can all see my chart. Should be able to hear me, should be able to see me. Yes, there we go. Right, legends. Okay, I'll be brief, I'll be bright, I'll be gone. Remember to smash up that like button. If you haven't done so already, sometimes you forget, okay? All you need to do is click that like button ever so gently. I will say hi to the community in a moment, but let's first dive into a little bit of technical analysis. I just want to see what the poll is showing over here. Okay. Has the bear market started? Yes, 22%. Okay. So there's some people that do believe that the bear market has started, but majority 18, 79, 76, 78, 73. Okay, jumps around a little bit, but the majority still agrees that the bull market is potentially still going to continue here to the upside. Okay, so let's start off with legends. I'm going to start here on the higher time frame. Okay, I'm here on the 12-hour time frame. Just going to look at this structure over here. Then I'm going to zoom into the 4-hour. I'm going to zoom into the 1 hour. We're going to zoom into the 15-minute, and eventually we're going to end up over here. Okay, we're going to end up over there, right? So let's start here. Then I'm going to go here. Then I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to go there, right? So because what I've noticed is when I'm in the smaller time frame and I want to make reference to a bigger level of support or resistance, or from a timing perspective, then the puzzle pieces just fits nicely together. Then I don't have to jump around between the larger and smaller time frames. So from a larger time frame perspective, legends, something that I want to point out, and it is something that I like to talk about because I don't see a lot of people talking about it. So I like to talk about it. Okay. When you have, welcome, Olaf Faray, let's do it. Nico, welcome again. Right, I just had a 1-hour live stream with the Legends Pro community, private live stream, where we went into different scenarios. I explained all the alpha trading setup that we got into last night. All of us, well, most of us that were awake, got into a trading setup last night. Okay, right over here. Okay, like literally right over there. That's where we got in. Okay. Some of you took profits like myself already. If we get stopped out, we know the next level that we're going to look at. But now for first, let's focus on this little structure. So something just from an education perspective, because you do know that I am very educational focused. Okay, I'd rather like to spend my time teaching you how to fish, okay, than giving you the fish, because I can go live, guys. I can go live every single day and just say live trading, and we're going to trade together. But what's that going to teach you? It's not going to teach you anything. Okay. Something that I've shared with the pro community this morning as well is that I've never heard of a person that belongs to a signals group that's become a millionaire and managed to keep their money, if they did actually become a millionaire, because they usually lose it in the next trade, okay, or they liquidate their accounts. So education is what separates a consistently profitable trader from someone that just wants to follow a signals group because they're too lazy to do it themselves. Right, trading does take time. Trading is an industry by itself. Okay, you can't be the CEO of one company and also try and be the COO of another company. It's not going to work, guys. You need to be, you know, if the eagle tries to catch 2 rabbits, it's not going to catch anything. So you need to be focused. Right, so let's start off with when you have an impulse to the upside. Okay, you have a low, you have a high, it's followed by a correction. Impulse, correction, impulse, correction. Okay, now we have another impulse, and perhaps this is just the start of the correction. Okay, so just guys, I'm just going to keep it simple over here. When you have an impulse, let's look at this little structure. Okay, let's zoom in here. Where's my menu now? Here we go. I moved this thing around. Let me put it over there. When I take a time flip, guys, and I don't see a lot of people talk about time flip, and I take it here from this low that we made on the 17th of August to the tippy top over here that we created on the 14th of March. Okay, just double click over there. Right. Well, you can see that it's a must, guys. It's a must. It's not a probability. It's not if it wants to. It has to. Okay. The market moves in waves, always, right? You have a wave, you have a wave, you have a wave, correction, okay? Wave, correction, okay? wave. You guys get the point. The market moves in waves. And now also this little momentum has a correction. Right, so from the tippy bottom over here to the tippy top over here, you can see that this low was made after the 0.618 from a timing perspective. In essence, what this means is that if this took a week, okay, for argument's sake, if this took a week, this took 61% for the correction to finish. So of the 100% that it took the impulse, 61.8%, yes, it took for the correction. The minimum requirement is always the 0.382. Time is never an invalidation, but it does give you a clear direction of when you should be looking for longs, or whether it's not time just as yet. Because I remember, okay, during this impulse here to the upside, there was a lot of people. Okay, the low is in, we're going to continue. Okay, the low is in, we're going to continue. Now, okay, the low is in, we're going to continue. But it wasn't time for the low to be in. Okay, we made another low. Now this one had higher probability. Okay, now you have a low after the 0.382. Not yet. Okay, another low. And then eventually when you are inside of the zone where you are supposed to make the low, price found upwards momentum. Okay, let's go and look at the next structure. Take this out the way. Okay, now we go into the next structure. Can you guys see the simplicity? You know, just keeping it simple over here. You have an impulse to the upside and you have a corrective structure. This correction corrects this entire structure. You have an impulse. This correction is correcting this structure. This correction is correcting this structure. This correction, this structure. This correction, this structure. But at some point when the entire structure tops out, you have to have a correction that corrects the entire structure. Okay. So also let's quickly go and look at time. Take a time flip from the bottom, okay, to the tippy top. Just keep it simple. I'm not going to go into Elliott wave theory and overcomplicate it and say, well, this was actually the low and that was actually the high and this was part of. No, let's just keep it simple, guys. From the low to the high. Well, where was the low made? Woo, after the minimum requirement. Okay. In a bull market, you will often find corrective structures that finishes sooner than the one-to-one extension, because momentum is aggressive to the upside. You have an impulse, short correction, 32% of the time, continuation. Short correction, continuation, okay? Usually finishing before the one-to-one extension, but it's still perfectly fine if you have a one-to-one ratio. Still perfectly healthy for the market. Okay. Right, now we look at where we are right now. Okay, keeping it simple once again, guys, from the low to the high. The highest, I'm just looking at the lowest point and the highest point. Okay, just keeping it simple. If I take a time flip from the low to the high, well, what do you see? Okay, right, what do you see? Well, this low was made before the 0.382. So just applying what we've seen in the previous structures. Remember, now you can start using data to your advantage. Well, I've now seen 2 structures, 3 structures. You can go reverse the price of Bitcoin. You'll see it play out everywhere, guys. Maybe now I have seen 100 structures, okay? And out of the 100, there was 6 that did this and it continued. And there was 95 that actually finished the low after where it's supposed to be. Okay, put a little bit of a smiley over there. Right, so keeping it simple, guys. Well, using this method, it's not time. It's not time yet for the correction to be finished. So when you have a low and a high, ideally what you would like to see is for the corrective structure to continue at least until after the 2nd of October. Let's call it the 3rd, 2nd of October, but the first week in October. Right, then I'm going to say, well, okay, now this looks great, because the deeper you go into time, okay, the deeper you go into this zone, and price still does not take that low. So it's chopping sideways, it's not doing this. Okay, it's not falling aggressively to the downside. So you actually want price to chop sideways. And the longer it chops sideways without taking that low, the higher the probability increases to take that high. Okay. And this is the zone where it needs to do it, right? Just based on previous data. Okay, so from a simplicity perspective, we can then argue, well, maybe this is just the start, okay? We had one leg down, we had a move up, and maybe this leg is not finished. And you form a beautiful lightning bolt that finishes after the 0.382, and then we can say, okay, now we load up, we're going to go take that high again. Okay, you have a breakout strategy maybe. Okay, whatever your strategy is, you can play the breakout, you can play the swing failure pattern, maybe from this pivot, or there's a naked point of control inside of the consolidation, value area low, there's a naked point of control here as well. There's many levels that we can watch to catch this little bottom, okay, or close enough to the bottom. Or you can be a conservative trader and you say, well, I'm going to wait for the trend, okay. Breaks out, my stop goes below the low, it consolidates outside, becomes bullish, maybe it builds a little flag, breaks it upside, there you go. There's your trading setup, okay? Easily explained over here. Well, I hope so. Right, so now, okay, because I do see, and also this is why I put it in the thumbnail, is there a chance that the low is in? And now we've created a higher low, and now we're going to continue and claim the highs. So can you see that you're starting to speculate against probabilities? Okay. Ideally, what you would like to see is for a larger structure, even if it goes deep. Okay. As long as it does not take this low. Remember, guys, when you have an impulsive structure, as long as the retracement does not take the low, there's always a chance for continuation back to the upside. We can start talking about bear markets once this low is taken. Okay, then you start talking bear markets because then you have a lower, okay, lower low. Price goes up. This is where I get out of all my positions, makes a lower high, and then it continues the momentum to the downside. So there is a way to get out, okay? I'm not getting out, yeah, no ways, because each wave has to retrace itself. So each wave has to retrace itself, and that's where I get out. So you can be smart about where you get out. You can still get out with profits. You just have to be patient. Okay. So now what I want to discuss is this local structure. Well, what is happening here? Okay. So now we can zoom into the smaller time frame. So let's go to the 4 hour. Remember, guys, if you haven't smashed up that like button, please do so. It's also your way to show support and love towards the channel. So now we know, well, we have the tippy top here at the top, okay, and we have so far one wave to the downside. Only have one wave, but inside of this wave you can count a 3-wave structure. Okay, let me see if I still have it here. 4-way. Is it this one? Not that one. I have, here we go. Right, you basically have an ABC. Okay, let me zoom in. So, and this is now where I see a lot of people are starting to turn bullish. Okay, a lot of people are starting to turn bullish because at the moment, this can be counted as an A, B, C, and your C has a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know it looks like a complete mess. I need to go and take out all that, but you see when I zoom in, it makes complete sense, okay? Which gives you a C. So you do have a 3-wave structure. Yeah, you have a 3-wave structure. What doesn't really make sense to me, guys, is if I switch this off, just go look at the structure again, okay? Let's just look at this again. Look at this. You have a wave up, and you have this. Okay, it looks like it needs to do this because look at the previous corrections, guys. You have a wave up. Okay, look at this 3-wave structure, or even if this was the high, larger 3-wave structure. Okay, also this one. I mean, this was the most boring range we've ever traded. I remember doing live streams inside of this range. Okay, but you have a beautiful 3-wave structure. Larger 3-wave structure. Anyways, Okay, let me take the scribble out, go back into price action. I'm not saying, guys, that the low can't be in. Okay, not saying that the low can't be in. We're discussing probabilities. I'm looking at previous data. Is there a high chance for the low to be in? Okay, so from a timing perspective, we now know, well, if this is the top and this is the bottom, well, it looks like it still needs to continue. Okay, so for the people saying this is the bottom and we are now forming a higher low over here and continuation, well, I will explain once we dive into this structure how I'm going to get into this trade without missing it. I'm already in a long position over here already. Okay, I'm going to explain that trade as well, but I'm going to be taking very aggressive profits, because there's a good chance that this is not done. This is not done yet. Okay. Also, when I look at support and resistance, let me see where that I saved this one. Here we go. I want to switch on. Interesting where we got the bounce, by the way, guys. I mean, these boxes I've had here forever. I haven't even looked at them today or yesterday or this whole week, actually. Okay, look at where price consolidated at support, broke down. Look at where it found its feet at support. Next area of support is the lows, and then we have a big naked point of control inside of this zone. Let me just see if that still lines up. Okay, let's do this. Just want to see if that is, yeah, that's where the naked point of control is, highest amount of volume. Right, but there's a bigger area of support that I want to highlight over here. So let's go to the 8 hour. Right, let's switch on the VP. This is, yeah, okay, I need to clone one of these boxes. Let's take the scribble out. So I'm doing my admin here. Just want to make sure that the music is a little bit softer here in the background. Okay, let's clone this level. There we go. A mountain, an absolute mountain of support inside here. Okay, supported by an extreme high volume node. Okay, I do see, and the reason I'm highlighting this support over here, legends, is that you have this beautiful consolidation area. You have the point of control of this entire range over here. You have a mountain of volume. So if things get really nasty to the downside, keep this level in mind, $95,000, $94,000. And yes, there is a chance that price can get here. And I'm going to show you now when I analyze this structure. Okay, next area of support, we also have a mountain of volume over here, so it's going to be a very tough nut to crack this little volume node to the downside, and this is the point of control of this entire range. The question is, we don't know how low it's going to go if it does go down low, but we can be ready. Okay, with our levels, we can play those swing failure patterns. We can get in. If we're in profits, we can protect our position. If we get stopped out at break even, it's a free trade, right? That's how we play this game. It's about preserving capital at the end of the day. Okay, so the one thing I must say, guys, this is the best area of support. You have a low, you have a high, price falls down, and the bull market continues. The only thing I don't like about this level is I see everyone starting to talk about it. Okay, it's all over social media. I see some big other crypto influencers are now talking about 95,000, 94,000. Everyone's starting to talk about this level. And I know from experience, when too many people are keeping an eye on the level, what the market loves to do is it either front runs the level, finds support, it leaves all of these people behind, or it scares the shit out of everyone. It breaks the level and it finds support at this high volume node, which is at the 786, which is also the maximum bullish target that you want price to hit. So when I take a fib from the low to the high, you can see, okay, where's that 786? Well, your maximum bullish area is right here at the 786. So I know almost guaranteed. Let's see how this plays out in the next couple of months. I can tell you guys now that price is not going to bounce. Yeah. Okay. It's not going to bounce here. It's either going to bounce here or it's going to bounce here. Just from experience, guys. When too many people are watching a level, then the market makers are not going to be like, okay, let's give everyone what they want. No, they're either going to leave them behind and then force them to buy in at higher levels, or it's going to scare the crap out of them, liquidate their positions, and then you get the bounce. Okay, it plays out on the smaller time frames as well. I've seen it happen so many times. Okay, and this is actually ironically what happened here to the upside as well. Remember, especially the pro members. Okay, if I zoom into, this is exactly what happened here on the top. If I zoom into, let me take this all out the way. Don't need this. Don't need this. Okay, switch on my point of controls. Zoom in. You will see that I have a little thick one that says old point of control. Do you guys see that one? The one that says old point of control. This one over here. Okay. We had that mountain of volume. Point of control. You know, we had this, guys. We had this mountain of volume over here. And I told the Legends Pros, I'm not sure if I mentioned it in the live stream. I'm sure I did if I go back to the live stream that I did during these days over here. I said, guys, the market is either going to front run this pivot. Okay, the volume node that everyone is watching, the 0.618, it's either going to front run it or it's going to scare the crap out of everyone. Okay, it's either going to do this, which it did, or it's going to scare the crap out of everyone and then reject. And that's exactly what happened, because here on the smaller time frames, okay, look at the thin green line. Can you guys see the thin green line? The 0.618 was front runned. This point of control was not even a level to draw from a session volume profile perspective. I manually put it in here and I said, guys, there's a good chance, okay, that price is going to front run. And this is, I think this is where it will happen if it does front run. Okay, there's the point of control inside of this little range. Price rejected twice, once, twice, fell to the downside. 0.618, every trader that was waiting with their limit orders, I can just imagine the limit orders over here, point of control, there was a weekly point of control. You know, there was a lot of levels here to the upside that did not get tapped. But then this little bad boy over here, this little high volume node is what did the trick. It just fell to the downside. So it does happen where the market loves to front run, or it scares the crap out of everyone and then it dumps. Okay. Right, let me switch this off, clean up the chart. Now, what we can do is let's focus on this little structure from the highs to the lows. So from the high that we've created over here to where price is at the moment. Okay, so now remember to smash up that like button if you haven't done so already. Just want to smash up my own like button as well. There we go. Smash up my like button. Also, guys, if you want to be part of our Legends Pro community, where myself and Andy, Dylan, the coaches, spend a lot of time educating. I was also in a 1 hour live stream before this live stream doing some education and alpha, right? Here's the link to join our Legends Pro community. If you'd like to trade with the best exchanges and the best offers and the lowest trading fees, all you need is an email and a password. Also, your way to support the channel. It costs you nothing extra. Bluffing, where I do most of my larger trading, okay, my big portfolio trading, BTCC, I've still got my swing trades open there, you all know it, and then I do my scalping on weeks. I haven't had time to do scalping the last couple of weeks because of the course and everything else that I'm busy with, but I've got my money loaded in the account, okay, and I do take those trades when I do see the opportunities and I am in front of the chart because the fees are incredible. In fact, I have a little bit more discount than this because I bought the native token. You can do whatever you want. I have no affiliation with you buying the native token or not. I just bought the native token when it was dirt cheap so that I can get 75 or 70% discount on my trading fees. Okay. I wanted an exchange to replace Mexi. Okay, right, so let's get back here into the meat and potatoes. So without going, BTC hit the 0. No, it did not. It did not. Get ready for a little bounce and lower we go. Phantom, it did not. We actually discussed it, okay, and that's why I know, right? If you take a fib from the high to the low, okay, it was not tapped, it was front runned. And I'm going to discuss this now in a moment, because I would love that level to be tapped, because then, to your point, it will increase the probabilities that this is not a 1 and a 2 and we're going to go up in a 3. Okay, it's part of a corrective structure. So this low is going to be claimed even with a bounce to the upside. So we're going to discuss that when I get to the structure. Right, take this out the way. Now, guys, I'm not going to go into every scenario why this is not an impulse. I can tell you now with a level of high confidence that this is a corrective structure. And during this structure, I have said the probabilities are still high to take this high at some point, regardless of how low this falls. Okay? Before we claim that low, can you guys see why I started on the larger time frames? Now that I'm on the smaller time frames and I speak about that low, okay? Before we claim that low, we're going to claim that high, okay? Not guaranteed, but there's a high chance. Nothing's ever guaranteed in the market because of this structure counts better as a corrective structure. I know, okay, and someone in the pro community also asked me, and I've also seen it everywhere, that people are doing this. Okay, they're doing this. 1, 2, yeah. Okay, and then they do this, and they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh shit, this is a leading diagonal. Okay, you have a correction and you have a dump to the downside. There's a big problem with the structure. That is your problem right over there. Okay, you have a flat. You have an A, B flat, C flat. Do you guys remember this little pump? The pump that didn't last, the pump that made the world bullish, that ended on a high amount of volume? Well, that is a flat structure. Okay, flat is where the B wave and the A wave claims the highs and the lows. B claimed the lows. C claimed the highs. It's a flat structure. A flat structure is not allowed in a contracting diagonal. Not allowed. Okay. Just to keep it simple. That's why I'm not considering this structure. Take this out. Right, so this structure counts better as a 3-wave structure. A, B, C. And then in your last C wave, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have a contracting diagonal, but this is an A and a B. This is an A and a B. C. A, B, C. A, B, C. You guys get the point. It's a A, B, C. Okay, it's not an impulsive structure. If price does fall to the downside, I'm going to say, well, it's the first time ever that I've seen something like this on the price of Bitcoin. Okay, so I can't guarantee anything inside of the market. Right, so if you have a 3-wave structure, okay, ABC, W, X, Y, doesn't matter, it gives you a W. Okay, so let's say this is a B, C. It gives you a W. Okay, so it's either done and now we're going up, and this is now what a lot of people are watching. The low is in. Price formed a higher low. This was the end of the correction in an A, B, C. Now we're going up. Okay, so let's discuss the probabilities. Okay, this structure can be counted as a 5-wave structure. So since the low was created over here, you can even, if you go into the larger time frame, like the daily time frame, okay, just to keep it simple, you don't have to go and micro count each and every structure, but you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tick. Okay, it looks impulsive, right? It's a 5-wave structure. This pivot did not go into the territory of 1. It's following all the rules more or less. Okay, everyone's happy days. Now what you want to see is a 3-wave corrective structure to the downside. So there's already a little bit of a problem, because what do I see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not allowed to make a 5-wave structure. It has to be a 3-wave structure. Okay, like this one, it has to be a three-wave structure. Okay, so let's give it the benefit of the doubt, right? And this is why now I see a lot of people are turning bullish. And I'm not saying it can't play out. I'm just saying I'm trading with probabilities at the end of the day, guys, right? So price has made the low. Okay, it did not tap the 0.886. And if price can remain bullish without claiming this level, okay, and it starts making 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, exactly what it did over here, okay, I will get in at the retracement because I want to see a 1, 2, 3, and that is where I will long to claim the high. Not now. Yes, I am in a long position at the moment, but I'm most probably going to close most of my position over here. And I'll leave a moon bag open for higher levels. 5, 10% I'll leave it open. But I'm going to close 90% of my position over here because I'm not convinced. I would rather wait for this. I want to see the three-wave structure. I want to see bullish CVD building up, and then I'll get back in. Okay, so I can still get into the trade. Make no mistake. Okay, it's not to say you've missed it now. You've missed this. Okay, it's not to say that because the price moves in waves. Okay, so as per the thumbnail, against all odds, this would be the scenario that continues the bull market. Is that the low is in an ABC. Okay, we have a 5-wave move to the upside. And we have an ABC which has finished. Ideally, you do not tap the 0.88 because as soon as you tap the 0.88, you increase the probabilities of claiming this low. So, you know, it's not an invalidation for a second wave. It's not an invalidation, but it does impact probabilities. Okay, so this little pivot that it made over here needs to hold and it needs to rock and roll here to the upside. Okay, so now, and you know, if I have to put my view out there, I think the correction's not done. Based on everything prior that I've shown you from a timing perspective and so forth, I think that you have a three-wave structure, but I think this is a W. You have a corrective structure in an X, and now you have an A. You're going to form a B. And you're going to go down in a C, and you have the completion of your Y wave. W, X, Y. Okay, B does not have to claim the high, by the way. It can be a small little b. But a larger corrective structure that finishes after the 0.382. Okay, right, legends. Sorry, man. Just give me a moment. I just want to see something over here. There we go. Sorry, legends. I received a phone call and I have a new puppy, okay, that is crying here in the background. And sorry about that. So I just needed to sort some things out. And then I have someone phoning me on WhatsApp. So I just need to close all of this. Let me just close my WhatsApp. Yeah, right. Let's do this. Okay, right. There we go. There we go. Right. Can't hear you, Mariela. Now you should be able to hear me. Yes, I'm back. There we go. You are back. Sound is gone. Please do not leak stuff. Please do not leak stuff. Please do not leak stuff. Bez knocking the door. Your sound is gone. Okay, cool. So I fixed the sound now. Or a puppy. Yes, I do have it. Did you guys hear the puppy? Okay, I do have a puppy here that's making a little bit of a noise here in the background. Right, legends. So I think let's do this. Okay, I think, guys, nothing's ever guaranteed. So I'm giving the bulls the benefit of the doubt. But based on everything that I've shown you, you need to make up your own damn mind. Okay. But for me, this structure for now is, or for me personally, carries the highest probability. You have a three-wave structure in a W, you have a complex corrective structure, and by the way, this structure on the smaller time frames does count better as a corrective structure because there's a couple of mistakes inside of the structure, especially if you go into the smaller time frames. Okay, now what you would like to see is a okay, a three-wave B, and a C to the downside. Right, so you form a larger three-wave structure. Now, let's discuss targets. Let's say this is going to play out. Let's say, okay, we maybe tap that zero, and this is why I also said whoever, I can't remember the name of who highlighted the 0.88 tap, that will be extra confirmation. If price can come down and tap the 0.8, it will give the scenario even higher probability. Okay, if price can come down and tap the 0.8, dip below, maybe get acceptance back above, and then we form a three-wave structure to the upside to go and complete a B wave. Because remember, inside of Y, you need a three-wave structure. You need a A, a B, and a C. Okay, like here, A, B, C. Complex corrective structure in X, it can be any corrective structure, but you have an ABC connector wave, and you have an ABC in a Y. Now, some of the targets, okay, for your Y wave, if things gets nasty to the downside, okay, is you take a trend-based FIB. Let me just take all of this noise out the way. Right, you take a trend-based FIB from the high to the low to the high, and you'll get these levels to the downside. The most common Y wave targets, if the scenario is going to play out, is the 1-to-1 extension, the 786. Okay, oof, by the way, look at that. Okay, it's not perfect, but remember, price, you know, sometimes it chops, but it finds support and it starts moving back up. So definitely a zone where I will be paying attention. So if the market is going to front run this zone, okay, this is where it's going to do it. Right. In a WXY, you do not want your Y wave to tap the 1.618. It's not an invalidation, it's just very rare to see a Y wave tap the 1.618. And this is the zone that I see a lot of people are talking about at the moment inside of this consolidation area, that high volume node that I've just shown you on the higher time frame. Okay, both of these levels are Y wave targets, by the way, but it does not have to go that deep. Okay, so FIB from the high to the low to the high, point of control 786, 1-to-1 extension. Okay, if things gets really dumpier to the downside, the 1-to-1 is usually the best target, guys, because you have a 1, okay, to 1 extension. Can you guys see? It's the same length. Okay, so you have a perfect corrective structure. So those are the two levels that I will definitely be paying attention to. Right, and that is basically what I wanted to discuss. So now let's go into the 15-minute time frame over here, and let's just look at, well, what happened yesterday. It scared the crap out of everyone. I think over 1 billion in liquidations that I saw from some of the social media content. Okay, one of the levels that I was watching last night was, okay, just measuring this wave. I was measuring this wave here to the downside. We got in at the 1-to-1 extension, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go back to the 1 hour. Okay, the pro members know. They already watched the live stream earlier on. First level we were watching last night. Okay, I did not know. Well, I hope no one took that trade because I said, let me take this out the way. Watching this pivot, as price was falling here to the downside, falling here, I said, I'm watching this pivot together with a 786, and price literally just sliced through it. There was no reaction at the level, and then I posted an update and I said, okay, no reaction, no trade. Right. Now, then I had, just want to get that quickly. Okay, that's one FIP pool. So just measuring this wave is maybe an A, B, C, tapped a 786, and I had a different FIP pool, but this is basically where we got in last night. Okay, take profits here to the upside. If I get stopped out here at the lows, so be it. There is another level. So from a trading perspective, the next level that I'm watching is, because I told everyone this looks like a 5-wave structure for the moment to the downside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's a chance that it could still choppy chop over here, and then it finds upwards momentum in a 3-wave structure, and then it falls down. So I want to take advantage of this move. And right, so if I go to my weekly levels, okay, zoom in. If I get stopped out, which it looks like I'm going to get stopped out now, at least with some profits, okay, this is the next zone that I will be waiting for. Okay, no reaction, no trade. I want to see a reaction at this level. If it slices through and it's below that, I'm not interested, guys. Then I'll watch the next levels over here. Okay, there's also a daily level over there. Just quickly want to highlight the daily level. If I take the weekly levels out the way, a daily level and a weekly level at exactly the same level. So if I get stopped out, boom, okay, my area of interest. So I know what I need to do as soon as my alarms go off. Okay, and that is basically the update here from my side. Okay. Sorry, legends, my dog is causing absolute havoc here in the background. I just need to see what is going on. Right, legends, thank you so much for joining. I unfortunately need to go. Remember to smash up that like button. The best deals on the exchanges are always down in the description. And have yourselves an amazing weekend. I will see you all next week. Until the next one, cheers for now.